Hello everyone, it is the Last Beluga here, coming to you with part number 23 of Sid Meier's Civilization 4 Beyond the Sword Caveman to Cosmos Edition, longest title ever included. Last time we took America over. It's kind of weird. We just took over DC, just like that, with a legion of some arquebusiers and some cuirassiers and some other terrible pronunciations of troops. We decided to move in and take it over. Back at home, we are just building things as we normally do here in Ottawa and Montreal and Toronto and the rest of it. So let's move on. So with the scientific method, we will start really piercing forward. There are certain points in this game, at least think about this from a tutorial point of view, where you really want to be aggressive. We killed a beluga, a barbarian beluga at that, but they want us, no. And at certain points, we have to think about when we want to do that. And I will try and show you, at least from what I remember with the mod, to somebody else who was mentioning before, to show only trainable units, because I guess you can see some of these are grayed out here, and ones that I can't build due to not having either the required tech or resources, or like in this case with the horses, like we don't have, apparently, what we do? Oh no, mules. We don't have mules, or llamas, or camels. So you can't build them, but other times you don't have the proper culture in order to build certain types of units, or the certain types of religion. Like, you know, certain ones here, they'll sit there and they'll outright tell you, like, you know, you need a certain culture in order to do that. Sumerian culture for Enkidu, etc. So in order to turn that off and only to show them, on the top here, you can see where my mouse is, where it says turn on, show only trainable units. There it does that, and the same thing here, since we don't have, for instance, gold or brass or anything like that, we will turn off as well. Once you have to, I believe, hit a building. It's just awkward here because I can't actually click on any of the buildings, but it might flip here once I click onto wealth. Possibly. Yeah, there we go. So again, you click it there, and it will do that. So we're going to get him back onto research right now. It doesn't look like we need anything else, although we can get Da Vinci tanks if we wish. So you know what, we will get a couple of those. Just to roll on out there. We should probably have a clockwork golem. 14-1 movement. 14-1 movement, really. And this is a 26-1 movement, so this is a little bit better. Probably get another one then. Oh my god. Okay. One day, when I learn how the hotkeys work, I will come back to you. Whatever. We'll just do it like this. I still... So there, I can't even figure it out. Up here, we have our unit stacks. We're going to send them back to the city. Just let them heal up for a turn. Everybody else in here will just put on Fortify. We'll want to make sure that they're nice and defended through here. The units which we have here, we do have some heavy pikemen coming in. So we'll try and get these guys off the boats as quickly as possible. Just move them in. Just, you know, some more. We'll probably upgrade them. And then after that we will send the sloops back home. Back to home base in Toronto. With that, it doesn't really look like there's anything some outriggers really. They don't look too powerful, but they can overwhelm in units. So as I was saying before, there are certain points in this game where looks like the information about the game's world. So obviously all the Da Vinci tanks are done now. We'll go back to research. Here these Da Vinci tanks have finished, which is excellent. Just got them to do some aggressive stuff, and we will kind of just move them out a little bit here so they could move around. They have the cool tank sound. Again, these the flutes as well we will bring back. So I think the flutes are the ones there. Well, they weren't sloops. So, as I was saying before, there are certain points where you could push and we're coming up to one soon enough. We're playing a little bit of a gambit here, hoping for coal and ammunition factories, etc. It doesn't look like anybody else is really making advancements on us. Here in Toronto, we'll do the examine city style of cleaning up everything, and again, it looks only trainable units. It's slightly aggravating how they don't do it for all. Doesn't look like there's anything here other than War Dog Trainer, which we will do. So finish this one here, 50% trade reel bonus. We're still racking in the money. So these guys are done here. The pikemen are going to move in, and they're going to sit in here as well, and we will wait for an upgrade that will probably clean up most of them. And that's what I mean by that. The Turks are getting gunpowder. The Apaches are not, which is good as it stands right now. Looks like we got some units up here. I don't know what's going on. Somebody in there. So we are done that, and we are probably going to move on to calculus. Very confident.
I feel obliged to believe that the same God who has endowed us with sense, reason, and intellect has intended us to forego their use.
So there's lots of fun stuff with the scientific method. We'll be able to boost up lots of stuff here. Let's get a museum in Toronto. Vote for me. Best in the world. You, I don't know. Can I not continue looking around? Yeah, keep on doing that. In Ottawa, we're going to take ourselves off of research for a second and get ourselves a museum, National Science Foundation, as well as the Louvre. And, you know, that's pretty good that our rating there for how many turns it will take is still pretty stable. So, as I've now been trying to say for close to 7 minutes, we're getting to a very interesting point of the game. The industrial age will be one that is filled with disease and sickness. Sounds good to me. It will be filled with disease and sickness. However, it will be very, very good. In Montreal, we have finished a money press, which is excellent. Going to get a cockfighting ring, as well as many other things. Looks like some calligraphy and stables and buildings and lots of fun stuff that we'll be building in here. Excellent. We win the vote again. Ottawa is done. Ottawa's not done their stuff because I didn't decide to take them off of research first. The Rock Garden in Washington, D.C. Work has now begun on a Fletcher's hut. Has founded Interesting. So this is not a playstyle which I would say is recommended for most people if you're going to be playing on higher difficulties than myself, because it's not sustainable. Like really. The fact that I only have really 4 cities, because one of them isn't even really producing as a city yet, is not good. And I would say to somebody who is trying to play this game like a more competitive, like not even like a competitive level, but trying to beat the AI on harder difficulties, like you would never use anything which I'm doing right now as a strategy for deity, and I would never want it to be marketed as such. This is strictly to be able to show off the game at a later stage. This smaller condensed group means that the turns will be able to flow quicker. We'll have a more concise amount of research per turn because we're not focused on spreading out. And one of the things which you can do on deity at least is sit there and be able to, we have potatoes. One of the things that you can do at least is what the hell are they doing? Build a cottage. You know what? I'm going to say that the potatoes are a little bit more worth it. And one of the things, at least, that I would say here is having it like this, you can see the research that we have per turn, which is pretty good. And one of the things is, the larger that your cities are, obviously it costs more money to be able to sustain them. And because of that, sometimes you'll find it necessary to lower your research in order to still be able to be in the green and make money. And then eventually you'd be able to lock up enough money to boost up the text before. This was at least the way that it was in Beyond the Sword had, and still, you know, partly remains so in this game. Having a smaller amount of cities or growing at a very slow, very stable rate means that I could have tons of money and be on 100% research per turn, meaning that here I'm at a very high point in the game. Like, I'm much, like, well advanced of the people who are here. However, it won't be like that forever. And that's where you need to worry about timing attacks. Like, we're here, and to show you guys what I mean by this, we are all the way down here on the tech tree. We're getting into the industrial age. I see people over there that are working, they just worked on education. They're working on, you know, gunpowder. I saw that. So they are really not that far behind me, if not right on top of me now. Because, you know, we're only up here, and we won't be able to sustain ourselves like this forever before falling behind again. So the idea is going to be to really pump out the tech as fast as we can so that we can get to a point where we're going to have way better units than them. Flintlock would be a good example of that with the Musketmen here. However, I'm hoping, I'm really betting on being able to get to riflemen before them, being able to get to military tradition with cavalry before them, because with enough of riflemen and with cavalry, we'll be able to take down just about anybody. It's going to take a long time for people like the Apaches and for people like the Ottomans, like the Turks, to be able to fully adapt their armies to everything. And because of that, we'll be able to capitalize on it. The Apaches are only working on invention right now, meaning that they're just getting to the point of being able to get into the Renaissance age. That is one of the major texts that's pushing through. So because of that, we are in a very tight situation with them. Maybe some spot near DC. Floristry, sure. So the idea is going to be, at least for a bit, to be very close. So now, since we finished the National Science Foundation, we'll get one free tech, and I'm probably going to sit here and go with dueling, because that will lead to Flintlock, which will push us down on our way here. And with Calculus finishing next turn, that's pretty nice. That is one of the things which I've been hoping to do with this as well, is being able to grab all the stuff which will give us free techs first. There are certain techs at certain points which you get free ones. As I mentioned way back when we got sedentary lifestyle, that gave us a free tech, and I believe I took agriculture first. It's still the same. It hasn't changed. The other side of this is we want these people fighting against one another as best as we can. It probably won't happen. Ain't happening. It probably won't happen because we're all continents away from one another, but that also means that, like, really, we're not... It's going to be difficult to fight against one another properly, to fight against each other properly. So, good. We're going to get more stuff which is going to be able to bolster... Oh, we got... It's a cesspool. Citizens demand a boxing ring. Very well. Build them a boxing ring. So the Louvre will finish next turn. We have more potatoes in here. Build a wetlands camp. Why not? It's a little slow, the game right now. We're going to build Scotland Yard. We will be able to recruit, you know, great spies from it eventually, at some point in this game. Hopefully I'll be able to show that off. We are still, I mean, some people will sit there and be like, but Beluga, you're still so far ahead in score. And that is true. I don't know where... Fuck. Alright. Well then. Change of plans, everyone. It looks like Geronimo has decided that the world isn't big enough for the both of us, and now we have gone to war. Now, I bet you, more than anything else, because it is almost not sustainable for me to be able to keep my troops in Ottawa... Oh, let's get some Da Vinci tanks then. We're going to need to start sending Da Vinci tanks overseas as quickly as possible to be able to push back and to defend. Here, I want you guys working on probably Da Vinci tank. Actually, probably some flutes, if I could find them on this list. Oh, fuck it. We're going to do this through the examine. Alright, so, once again, Civ showing me that there is really no way to ever prepare. We have started that. So 20 experienced units in the same tile. That is going to be important. We're going to take the Viceroy, and we're going to get some flutes, I believe, are your Right there is 2H, distance, naval, cannonball, distance, human, transport. Good. Excellent stuff. The Louvre is done. Excellent. Now, important thing to know. Actually, Ottawa's going to be building some more stuff because we need to. Important to note, this is one of the reasons why I build roads as quickly as I can, because in theory you could get there much faster now that we have roads. Over here we have Jade, which we're working already, which is good. In Ottawa itself, we have troops that are coming in through the north here. Flailmen. These guys are not going to be able to take the city. They're going to need probably a lot more. We have 147 now. I was going to say we had 105%, but only 47 because the water supply was poisoned. But okay, we can deal with this, hopefully. Da Vinci tanks are done here. It's unfortunate we don't have Ottawa on the sea to be able to pump out like all the units at the same time, because we're going to have a pretty hard time getting our troops overseas. We're going to get the School of Mathematics because we're still going to be running science at the same time. We've got a free artist as well as a free scientist, which is very good. So we're going to start setting them down here. And you guys onto boats if possible. We want to load them on to these flutes. We want traveling speed. And we want to send. Look at that. Look at that. That's beautiful. 2 turns to be able to go down there. That is exactly what we're going to need. See, we ended up taking other ones here, which aren't as important. These guys are done. Or they're being produced, at least. So these tanks should be able to help, at least possibly, turn the tides of the war. With this navigation, it is excellent. So next turn, we will be looking at pumping forward with that. We're going to finish off physics with this great scientist, which is wonderful. Really, just remarkable stuff. We got another great scientist for finishing it.
Always opposed an equal reaction.
Excellent. We're going to get Flintlock, because now we're going on a full warpath. So we got ourselves another one, Jurisprudence. I believe we just put points into that one. We didn't get it fully. I believe the great scientist will be in Ottawa itself. And we can't actually research anything. Interesting. It must be like in another turn. You guys here. Can I at least board you? Movement, 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 movement. All those flutes. How long will it take you guys to get overseas? 3 turns? Gotta do it. Gotta just start sending people over as fast as we can. It's not really efficient to do it that way, but it will work. In here, we're running a very interesting little lifestyle here. In Washington, we're going to probably want to start producing troops. This is early. This is pretty vulgar way to do this. However, there's just nothing that we could really build. Bandits, but longbowmen are going to be our saving grace here. They're really going to be our saving grace, because longbowmen are they're notorious for being effective defenders. They are a turning point in the main game, and they are a turning point in this game as well. A very interesting crux. So the Apaches are obviously trying to go to war with us, which is an interesting choice with the amount of production that we have. I mean, I'm going to be able to ship tanks overseas like nobody's business. And because of that, with 2 turns for me to be able to send several tanks down, possibly, why don't we get more tanks here? Because we could fit around 7 tanks into 1 cargo load, and that is really nice. We got 5 here. Disembark. What are you on? Poisoned arrows, combat. What are you on? What boat? You guys, I'll want you onto the Flute 13. It's dangerous to go with several people, but we're just going to go with this one. We're going to be sending 4 more overseas this turn. %, win. Good. Good stuff. Doesn't look like there's anybody on board here. We can't attack again, so we'll just fortify until healed. Looks like there's somebody on here. Well then. Alright then. Send them overseas. Gonna wait. Alright. So, the fun has begun. Washington now with actual walls. It's going to be very, very interesting. Now we can attempt to do something which is going to be using these tanks to be able to move out about as quickly as possible. Looks like the Huns aren't doing anything too crazy. We got our School of Mathematics further putting us ahead in research, but apparently there's none on this. So I just sent a whole wave of people up into nowhere for no reason. So the tanks have arrived. And the longbowman has finished. Has now begun on a fire brigade. Here you just do whatever. Not in the mood. 4 more of them are done here. We want our combat. All of you on board to the flute. And you guys are going to go overseas as well. So now we have a decent amount of... we have certainly enough defense in here. In here they have 300%. Wow. That's a hell of a lot of people. And we don't have really an effective way to take them down. We do have some cannons. Small cannons, at least. Tucson, we'll have to take that. It's a big city. Take the coast. How many people are there? Willing to trade map, Geronimo. Geronimo's willing to negotiate. I bet he is. You got a clerk's guild. He's not even attacking me. You notice that he has stayed away from me. Let's see what's going on up here. That neck of the woods. Fire brigades are done. So we got more tanks and a viceroy. Can't even speak. 4 tanks, or 3 more tanks and a viceroy coming off here. Taking some cities from him and doing what I believe will be the most effective thing right now, which would be to take the cities and to raise them pretty much immediately. Will be good. it'll screw him over. Because he'll be willing to sign because of that. And he's actually willing to sign right now. But moving trebuchets around, I can see them. I can see siege towers. He looks like he's gathering troops up there. They are the most powerful, which is good. Got a potato farm, water tower. And Ottawa has finished Sir Isaac Newton's college. And +1 relations with Suleiman. Very nice. Just gonna stay right there. I want a decent scout. You guys, what is going on around here? Oh ho ho! Look at what's going on up here. We got a party in town. Interesting. Move these guys up here. 5 tanks now coming off. I hate that you can't disembark quickly. Well, apparently you must be able to. If I select the actual ship. It just got them all off. Can't do multiple selections. Got more tanks coming in here. This should be more than enough to slaughter whoever's up there. I know I'm going to be going over time here, but I am really interested in the way that this is going. It looks like there's even more troops that are either moving in or moving out. Killed Wales, and we have influence, and we're just going to get the 1-turn jurisprudence, and now we can get musketmen, which will help significantly. At least bolstering some defense. How much damage can you guys do? Because they took very little damage. Units cannot enter under protection of their walls, so they destroy it or destroy the people. Wow, look at that. We lose that fight against them. Not with all these tanks, but we would. Lead troops as warlord. Good. This warlord one will be good. 20% versus gunpowder. We actually don't want versus gunpowder. We want city attack. Do here, so we're going to send out our these guys to heal. Now, there's a trick. I don't think, okay, I think I misplayed how the trick is going to go, but it would be interesting if I remember it. There used to be a trick in the early game. A breaking of the game, as it were, that allowed you to basically heal up your units in 1 turn very quickly. This was done by basically creating a scout, which acted as your healer. And your scout, it's got district courthouse and water pump. And this basically acted as just a permanent medic, which you had. I can't attack. God damn it. It's low enough. It says reduce the city to 60. Oh, it's at 135 now, so it wasn't before. It's probably more than enough to be able to kill them. We'll burn down their city. We'll influence them a bit. Right now they're building way more troops than they're going to be able to sustain. Ranged bombardment. So the good news is that at least in here we are good. Probably be good with those. Well, something just popped up at the end of the turn. An early Imperial Guard has withdrawn from combat with your Da Vinci tank. Interesting. So it looks like... I don't know why they would have went out and tried to attack it. That's bizarre. Thought that they were a little smarter than that. Oh, this is the Imperial Guard that they had. It didn't really do so much to 60. We're at 80. Didn't do so much to me. Just gonna stay there for a bit. 2. Because right now we're in the thick of things right now. Probably maybe split this up depending on how I feel and depending on whether I want to let my computer sit there for 30 years. He's got trebuchets out. He's got a large force of units moving in over there. I'm hoping that we're going to be able to get enough with this next volley of guys. There we go. Looks like we're at 30. Yep. Lost one. Got a great general. That's exactly what I was waiting for. That's a pretty good day. Get rid of these captives. I don't want to deal with this crap. Alrighty, this is important. So in Montreal, we're going to be building a scout. Where are you, scout? Dock worker. It's got to be scout around here somewhere. Explorer, scout, or I guess adventurer is your recon now. Alright, let's see if this still works. So that's a pretty good engagement up here. Most of them are dead. Our tanks suffered pretty minimal casualties from that. Up more than just threw themselves into the hot springs. Sulfur. Not a chance of I giving you sulfur. We will do that a little bit later. Get me cavalry tactics. Oh my god, capital administration, metropolitan administration, training dojo, sure, why not? Really? Wow. Gotta fall. Gotta fall. Eventually. Jesus, game. Cut me a break. Thank you. Finally. So we've raised it to the ground. I need the health. Normally there used to be like a blitz one. Arctic Desert. Yeah. We still have our main corporal. Gonna want that. 6 turns to heal up. You guys are gonna run back there. Fuck, man. We got a whole unit of infantry moving up. To the city! We ran in, razed a city, and now we're gonna run out. Da Vinci tank was destroyed on the way out. They're being hit by collateral. I'm gonna see if we could end this war. Because this is not good for us. Because we didn't get my chance to be able to do this properly. This is going to be close, so I'm going to end it before they can take Washington. Let us stop this pointing fight and point this. Alright, so we've made peace. We have made peace now. And there you have it. Our first real war. Not gonna need those guys. Our first real war that was declared on us. You guys, it's gotta be a medic before we go here. Like a healing. Ooh. Ooh, 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 ooh. Isn't that interesting? Attila has declared war on Geronimo. Interesting. Flanking. Okay, let's just say combat. It's gotta be something. Forestry. It's gotta be health. Well, healing. Oh, I'm an idiot. Excuse me for still believing that this was the way that the game worked. But next time, I will keep you in a little bit of suspense. Next time, I will explain what I did wrong there and why this is a different game than Beyond the Sword. So thank you all for watching the first war. We did pretty well there. I would say overall, we have most of our tanks intact. We have all of our cannons intact. Yeah, I think we lost 1 or 2 tanks there. They mainly withdrew. So that's really good. Washington held with no casualties, and we were able to raise the city there. And that was all with us working very quickly to try and get tanks overseas, which, as we can now see here, is a very effective way with that movement bonus, especially with when we finish that in Toronto. So next time, we will go over everything, the damages, the reports, and we'll get right back to it. Thank you for watching. This has been The Last Beluga, out.